miss my best friend. He really is the best man. How I miss my best friend.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spoiler Warning Podcast. This is review number 845 with a review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm Christopher Schnese.
And I'm Stephen Miller.
And if you're joining us for the first time, the Spoiler Warning Podcast is a weekly film review program. Each week in the show, we're going to dive in, debate, discuss, and argue over the latest films coming to a theater near you. This week, we are back in theaters talking about our new Spider-Man film, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Very exciting, Stephen, getting to return to theaters to watch another Spidey film. How are you feeling this time returning? Were you hyped for this one? Were you over it? How are you feeling?
I was reasonably hyped. Yeah, this was one of those movies that because I was traveling this weekend, I kind of crammed it in the one time I could, which was a late Thursday night showing. So, there was a small part of me that was like, okay, I'm going out for another Marvel movie. But it had things going for it, right? Like Spider-Man generally has been one of the sub areas of the MCU that usually doesn't let me down, right? Like my least favorite was Spider-Man Far From Home, or Spider-Man No Way Home, which is the one that everyone else loved. Like it just felt very gimmicky to me. But even that one, I still I would watch that again.
Yeah.
So I knew the floor was not that low. And also, Destin Daniel Cretton directed this in general. Like, I liked Shang-Chi. I liked Short Term 12, by him. I wanted to see what he would do. So I came in hoping that I would like it, I would say. I didn't think it was going to blow me away, but I also didn't think I was going to hate it.
Gotcha.
How about you?
Yeah, I was... I didn't know what to expect, earlier on.
Have you seen a trailer? I didn't watch anything about this movie before watching it.
I had seen the original teaser, and I was kind of like, whatever. And then as each new trailer dropped, I was getting progressively more and more hyped for this film as they all came out. So I was pretty hyped going into this thing. I'd say I'm a Spidey fan.
Yeah.
I'm not like a Spidey buff. I'm not pulling in the deep knowledge as I come into these films being like, I have all the world in my brain and I'm looking for all the things. I just like this character. I like Tom Holland as, this specific version of Spider-Man. So I was excited to see what we were going to get. I was excited for the little bits of the rest of the universe they were throwing into this film. And I think I went in.
So did they tease ahead of time that they were going to be throwing in bits of the rest of the universe?
They teased certain bits.
Okay.
Other certain bits, maybe the whole internet was speculating about.
Okay. Sure.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it later towards the end of the episode.
Who a certain young actor was playing, perhaps? Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, I was stoked going to this movie. So we're gonna find out if the stokeness paid off. Anything you'd like to say before going to this one?
Nope. Ready to dive in.
All right, Steven. What do you say we take a listen to the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day and then come back and give everybody a review?
Let's do it.
I can't believe our first hit MIT! MJ, come on, pretend like you're not the happiest you've ever been in your entire life.
I can't.
I knew it!
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. You don't remember me, but we used to know each other. Something bad was going to happen, and the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a van!
Quit your whimpering. Suit yourself. Mother.
Go home! And sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. What is happening to me? Oh, God. Excuse me, Dr. Banner. I need your help.
What did you say your name was? DNA is mutating.
It would be enormously dangerous.
Spiders have 3 life cycles. When between cycles, it can leave the spider vulnerable to threats.
We are faced with a danger that we can't control. One we can't even see. Stay out of my way.
You're losing it, kid.
And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
All right, so that was the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. When we last left off Spider-Man, he made the world forget who Peter Parker was. And he's been just living alone, sad little lone man. But, you know, being Spider-Man by day, being sad loner by night, or I guess being Spider-Man by day and night and being sad loner all the time. But there is a new strange bad guy person that is showing up, and he is going through some changes as he deals with his aloneness. And yeah, all this stuff sort of collides, and he has to figure out how to deal with it all at the same time. Stephen Miller, what did you think of Spider-Man Brand New Day?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I would say I really liked this one. Yeah, my immediate reaction, I haven't given it too much thought in my ranking, is that this is the best Spider-Man since the first one, Homecoming, the first Holland. And maybe I like it even better than that because we've already established the character and we don't need to go through all of the things that we've seen, 2 or 3 times before already vis-a-vis Spider-Man. I think this does what I want a Spider-Man movie to do, which is keep the scope relatively small, right? Relatively contained. It doesn't need to be... Yeah, exactly. Christopher is making a gesture that I fully understand and was also thinking about. Keep the scope relatively contained. Like, it doesn't have to be blue things shooting from the sky that are destroying the universe or whatever. He is the neighborhood Spider-Man, right? And let the story be sort of a proxy for coming of age lessons. I am not enough of a Spider-Man connoisseur to know if this is what the comics tended to lean towards, but at least in film, he is always at least learning things as if he were a kid. And sometimes it's strange because he's not, right? Like, the actor at least is clearly much older, but usually they're very simple lessons of what it means to grow up and take responsibility and learning hard truths about the world. And it fits so well with Tom Holland as this permanently young looking person to go through those lessons. And in this case, the lesson is basically adolescence and hard feelings and learning how to grapple with difficult feelings and what is the productive way to do with the mad that you feel, right? Like, it's kind of got a Mr. Rogers bent to it. And I found it like really effective. I think the action is well shot and I enjoyed it, but it's as light as I want it to be. Like, there's never a moment watching this movie that I think, oh my God, Peter's about to die, or oh no, the world is about to end. I'm not here for that, right? I'm here for, I want to watch this character embrace his inner feelings and learn how to express himself more and become more of himself, and I think the movie just did it in a really lovely way. You also mentioned that it connects to the broader universe. I think it might be a little controversial in how it did that, but I think it was very smart in how it connected to broader universes, other aspects of IP. This is the first time in a while that I have seen one of these MCU movies do that, and it has made me excited to see how they will connect, rather than feeling annoyed because it's trying to make it meaningful by connecting it to something else that I maybe haven't watched yet. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I had fun with it. It isn't that this is a towering achievement It isn't a movie that I think I'm going to be thinking about 10 years from now or anything, but it gave me joy, gave me something to think about. I felt for the character. It felt breezy. I don't know. It just had everything I want. And for the first time in a while, I kind of feel like intrigued by what the MCU is going to do moving forward. Am I crazy? How did you feel about Spider-Man Brand New Day?
No, I mean, you're not saying anything crazy. I mean, I really like this film a lot. I love that this film is still dealing with the ramifications of stuff that he's done in the past, right? It doesn't just feel like another sequel with another bad guy. It feels like an actual continuation of the story where he has to reckon with what's come before. This film is also setting up more stuff where he's going to have to reckon in the future. That's just, the decisions that he makes. He is going to be like essentially in the Tony Stark world in the future where it's like, stuff he's done is going to be a thing that he's just going to have to deal with later on. And that's just going to be the world that we're going to be in from now on. So I'm excited to see where this goes moving forward. That's going to be pretty cool, hopefully. But I just love what this film is doing, like seeing him have to look on at everything that's happened before from afar and just be that kind of like a sad dude and have to deal with that and figure out a way to try to get back, but like still hold off on wanting to be there. I think the villain character or the presence, the slow revealing to Peter of this villain and what the villain can do is really cool and interesting. And the way it presents it and like the rules of its behavior is really, really cool. And it's one of those things where it's kind of a silly mechanic, but they do it in such a fucking cool way. It's like on paper, it's silly, but it's like, what if somebody had a silly limitation and they're like, well, fuck you, I'm going to use it in the coolest way possible.
Right. And I mean, it becomes a sort of dance, there's something very cool visually about how they handle it. Yeah.
Like there's a chase scene in this film that uses the limitation of the villain's power. And it's like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, I love this. So like this film just does really, really inventive things. This whole thing with Peter going through his transformation and stuff like that. I feel like at some point in this film, it kind of just abandons the actual... It abandons the non-metaphor part of it, right? Like the transformation, this whole spider has 3 life cycles bullshit. There's like the metaphorical side of it where Peter has to make decisions of who he wants to be. Like does he want to be Peter Parker or does he want to be Spider-Man? And he has to figure out that whole thing metaphorically. That sticks through the entire film, but the actual physical aspect of it, I feel, is kind of jettisoned at some point.
Well, at a certain, and maybe we'll do some light spoilers because I want to talk about. There are things that we shouldn't talk about pre-spoilers, including who is in this movie, that is probably worth dissecting. It is one of those things where the metaphor I care about the whole way through. If I actually line up the metaphor with the reality, a lot of the lessons we learn at the end don't make sense with the reality.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you don't want to think about too hard, which is my general feeling about the movie, is I like it without thinking about it too hard.
and going into this film, I got very, very worried that we were going to get like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, emo Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, is he going to get an emo-ver and start going around and like...
I had the exact same thing. I one of the notes that I wrote here is this fixes the sin of Spider-Man 3 because it gives us the Spider-Man is losing control. There's something confusing or potentially dark happening, and it actually pays it off rather than just having it go goofball.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it didn't go down that dark path. So it actually was good. And as you said, I love the way it connects to the broader universe, and it's kind of doing it in that Superman way, where it's like all this stuff is just happening around, and people are going to dip in and out, and we can just go visit or call a person, and they're just always around in the world. Like all of the other films in the MCU, like you can just watch a film and say, why wasn't so and so there? And this film just shows that they're there, and you can call them at any time and just ask them a question. And I love that aspect of it. It lets you feel like all those people are there and around all the time. and you could just get them on the phone if you want to, or you could go visit them and say, hey, what's up? I'm dealing with this small potatoes problem over here. So like, what's going on? Like, so I that makes this world feel more lived in than some of these isolated stories have felt in the past. So it's like its ability to play in the broader universe and the small universe all at the same time was really, really fun. So for me, very, very interesting. Obviously this film has the fun, the action, the broader world, but it also has the heart of these characters. My favorite favorite moment of the entire film is literally the last scene of this movie. And we don't have to talk about it unless there's spoilers, but like that was like the entire movie. Even if I didn't like this movie, the last scene of this movie is like worth the price of admission regardless. Like, I would give it a must see even if I didn't like the movie just for that. So for me, big marks on this film just for what it's trying to do and the zone it's playing in. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
100%. I think we should do spoilers for this movie because I feel like it's worth unpacking, and unfortunately some of the core premises of the movie are spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at least I don't know which things are or aren't spoilers, so I'm erring on the side of thinking any connectivity to other characters is a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, I purposely picked like the original official trailer to use because it didn't include the presence of other characters that some of the later trailers did.
Because I will say I 100% agree with the Superman comparison. I think it's spot on. In fact, in general, this reminds me of the latest Superman movie, just in that it was fun, it had action, it had a lightness to it. It feels like the character learns something about who they are and what they represent. And it has this broader world where it's like, we don't need to be ultra serious about how we connect to the broader world. We just have this playground that you can use,
Yeah.
And I feel like it just nails it. It just has the feeling of like whimsy that I personally want from these comic book movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, should we do verdicts and then spoilers?
Sure.
All right, Steve Miller, if you were going to give this a must-see, recommend with a caveat, wait for rental, pass with a caveat, or a must-avoid, what would you give it?
I'm giving it a must-see. Maybe extra heightened because I feel like the MCU has not excited me very much in recent years, and this, going into Doomsday, it is very nice to actually feel excited about the MCU for a change. So yeah, it makes me think that they can pull it off, and I think if nothing else, the Spider-Man franchise is the gift that keeps on giving, and I'm excited to keep watching what they do.
You're saying your arachnid senses are going all haywire?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what they're called, arachnid senses.
Yeah.
No other shorter word for it.
Yeah. Must see for me as well. Yeah, not much more to say there. It's just go see this movie. It's great. Loved it. But yeah, we are going to talk spoilers in just a second. But before that, we have to say goodbye to some of you people who may be listening who haven't gone and see this yet. So you guys go watch this movie. We'll say goodbye to you as you're on your way to the theater to go watch it. And then you can come back and listen to the spoiler segment after that. Stephen Miller, while people are off watching the movie, where can they find you throughout the week?
People can find me at Blue Sky at sdavidmiller, sdavidmiller.com, or my new job as the product placement director for Bureau. I had a very subtle product placement in this movie. I don't know if you caught it. I'm joking. If anyone knows about Tom Holland's non-alcoholic beer company, there's the most ridiculous product placement in the planet that happens early in this movie.
All right, people can find me at ChristopherInRealLife.com or ChristopherIRL on a number of social platforms. You can find the podcast over at TheSpoilerWarning.com where you get a bunch of the back episodes of the show. If you want to subscribe to the show, you can do so in Overcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever podcasts are found. If you want to know when the episodes go live, you can follow us at Twitter.com/SpoilerWarning, Facebook.com/TheSpoilerWarning, or Instagram.com/TheSpoilerWarning. If you want to get a hold of us directly, you can send an email to fans@thespoilerwarning.com, or you can use the contact form on our site. Music for this episode will come from a track selected from artlist.io, so hopefully you're enjoying that. That music is playing now. That music is going to fade up, and when that music fades out, we will all remember Peter Parker, and we will remember the spoilers for this film, so stay tuned.
No one is my best friend. You would miss it.
right, we are back. This is spoiler territory. It's the after part of a review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Our Spidey tracker is going off right now. It's showing us that the spoilers are here. Stephen Miller, where would you like to get started?
I mean, I guess let's start with the big reveal, which is Jean Grey being the baddie in this movie. I kind of sensed that was where it was going. I did not know anything about the internet discourse, but it was revealing that it was a teenage girl who had these mind control powers, and I knew they were going to try to do something X-Men-y. I think this was really, really, really well handled because she is actually an interesting villain in the movie and an interesting, mysterious villain. Like you mentioned, the mechanics are awesome of the power. It got to do the Dark Phoenix thing in a way that actually made it, structurally, I know emotionally at that point she is no longer the supervillain of the movie, but structurally the supervillain had the scariest moment at the end, and they finally found a way to make Dark Phoenix a thing in a movie that didn't suck, which I think is pretty awesome. And I say all this despite the fact that this is one of those examples of if I think about it too hard, I'm troubled. Because, we are meant at the end of this movie, I'm nitpicking even though I loved it in the moment and I have no problem with it. At the end of this movie, we are meant to be oh, well, she had harm committed against her. And in fact, I'm kind of rooting for her now to redeem herself and join the X-Men. And, she didn't want to hurt anybody. But the way the villain is framed for the first hour of the movie is wantonly letting innocent people get in harm's way. She makes someone walk into the street and get hit by a truck just to have a cool smile moment. She has an old lady drive an exploding tank. There are things this movie is doing, which is very comic booky, which is why I give it a pass. In comic books, you watch someone do terrible shit, and then when they redeem themselves at the end emotionally, you're like, oh, actually, I don't really care that they did all those bad things. I think they can turn their life around now. But she did real bad shit, is all I'm trying to say. She was pretty fucked up. And I know she wanted to get her sister back. But I don't know. I think she was very, very well used. And I thought it was very smart for how to connect it with X-Men. And more broadly, how to give someone for Tom Holland to play off of the other extreme of a person who is bottling up anger inside and doesn't know what to do with all of it. I just have to point out that when theoretically a couple movies from now they try to make her join a hero team of some sort, it's going to be a little hard for me to be woohoo, yeah, you're on the winning team. She did do bad shit.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try to defend the bad shit she did, but to also praise the way that it's revealed, for a while we don't see the character, and then when we do see the character is shrouded in a hood. It's as though the character is trying to hide the character's identity as well from if we could watch this film without knowing people are cast, everybody who was speculating, they're speculating based on the actor playing the character, oh, who could this person who physically looks like this person possibly be playing?
I'm glad I didn't know that. Yeah. I think it would have been kind of annoying.
So it's it's one of those things where it's if you could know this person was not even know this person was cast in the film at all, and not even have to think about that connection at all to a possible character, and just know that a villain is there is a villain and this villain is acting a certain way, and then halfway through the movie suddenly be oh fuck, this person's in this movie and they look like this, oh my god, is this, oh my god, instead of obviously when they read the name, a bunch of people in the audience cheer because everybody's super stoked, but it's half the people cheering already knew it, and they're just cheering the way that some people laugh at a joke to show that they think they recognize that it's funny, you know what I mean? People are yeah, it's finally actualized, that kind of thing.
When Jim Gaffigan does the Hot Pocket bit 25 years in his career.
Yeah. But I still like the way it happened. And outside of the jumping in front of a car thing, the old lady driving the tank, I mean, the tank's protecting her from the stuff that is potentially going to hurt her, right? The tank is an armored tank, so...
Wasn't the bomb on the inside?
Yeah, but she was out of the tank before the bomb went off.
Yeah, but she didn't have to be. You know, all I'm saying, it's okay. The movie does all the Herculean effort to make sure no one actually dies in front of us. I'm just saying Jean Grey's plan clearly was more than happy to kill a bunch of people if it happened to go down that way.
Yeah, but I think the whole point was that the thing would crash, everybody would get taken away, and they'd be like, that's weird, there's an old lady in the tank. And the whole thing was you didn't check the tank because the old lady was the distraction. So
Spider-Man also has to do a bunch of things to save, like, kids and other people from dying, from smashing stuff, you know?
Yeah, but Superman has to do that too.
I know. Lex Luthor doesn't, join the Justice League at the end of a Superman.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But I'm totally okay with it. The reason I tee that up is the other, person cameo is not nearly strong enough a word. Thing that I really enjoyed actually was John Bernthal as the Punisher in this movie, which is another example where I really liked it in the context of the movie. When the movie ended and I thought about am I going to have to root for him or see him now? Because I know this guy, I know this character, and I know this character is bad news and not the kind of character I would want to be the fun, playful guy in the MCU all of a sudden. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that this movie is doing that. It is trying to take more difficult to redeem behavior and being we're not necessarily fully redeeming it, but we do want Spider-Man to relate to all of them, and we want the audience to empathize. And I think this pulled it off. And I really like the John Bernthal character as yet another foil for Peter Parker, right? Of the end result of not dealing with your feelings, is becoming this dark, embittered person who is kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And that's the thing that Andrew Garfield warned him about in the last film too, is yo, I was beating the shit out of people all the time because I was really, really sad. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, the one thing about the whole Jean Grey arc for me that bugged me is not the her, potentially killing people or, doing whatever it was she was doing to the whole city at the end of the film. So the whole thing with the Department of Damage Control or whatever it's called.
Right.
So, she gets this blast from her sister that says VMAX, and she's like, oh, VMAX, blah, 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 blah. We, as the audience, don't know what VMAX means. Spider-Man doesn't know what VMAX means. What's her face is searching on the internet and just thinks people are scrubbing VMAX from databases everywhere. Whenever Milchek talks about VMAX, whenever he says, oh, I don't know what VMAX is, that doesn't sound like anything to me, he's giving a performance that we are supposed to interpret, at least the way I interpret it, is we are supposed to interpret it as him lying and hiding, bluffing to Spider-Man. Right. But it's revealed that VMAX is the air conditioning. He doesn't
actually know.
So why do they treat? I mean, obviously he's hiding that they had at one point in time her sister, but it's weird that it's not weird alien tech from the original movie or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's treated as though that's what she's trying to get access to. Like if she had that alien tech that they were harvesting from the first movie, that maybe she could enhance her powers or something, or make a Cerebro or something, you know what I mean? That's the way they treat it.
Yeah.
But he's acting as though he's trying to hide a thing that she could actually search for, but it's not. It's the air conditioning vent company.
I know, yeah.
So,
I mean, I would say a version of this that I was going to say is the whole framing of the department, Severance guy, Tremel Tillman, basically you don't cast him to give this performance if you want there to be any question that he's going to wind up being a bad guy who's hiding something in the end, And you are right that he lays it on a little thick, given the fact that in the third act, we are told that he actually has no idea what that is.
Yeah,
and it's obviously meant to be for the audience to be confused. Like, the audience is supposed to think he's hiding a thing, and then it turns out he doesn't know. But it's a little funny because the thing we think he's hiding, we're basically right. Like, that there is a thing that matters a lot that this quote villain wants to get their hands on or wants to find, and he knows where they are but is hiding it. It is a little strange that, like, the reveal is just that the code word wasn't relevant to it,
Also, not to split sisters or anything, but she gets a signal from her sister who's being tortured and experimented on inside this thing. Her sister is weaker than her, as the film explains. She was being trapped in a room that was like binding her powers within a distance of a thing. But theoretically, the way that she received this VMAX signal was some like last ditch effort to burst all possible energy from herself, like use the last of her life force to send a signal that's like, I am here, right? So technically, they didn't kill her. She used the last of her possible life force.
Here's what I don't understand. That
signal.
machine, there's a machine. Is that just measuring? My interpretation of that whole bit is it was augmenting or doing something.
My interpretation is it was force jumping her, but it was like recursive looping back. It was like she was trying to jump, but to a non-destination and then back to herself, like her brain consciousness. It was like, it would be like if you were in the movie Jumper and you were showing a picture of yourself sitting in the chair and just repeatedly jumping back to the chair.
But my understanding is this was like a lab leak of her abilities or whatever. There's this thing that is testing her, and by testing is creating a feedback loop, and then it bursts. Not that like the person, because you were in so much anguish, you had this last effort to communicate. I saw it more as like it augmented the signal, and the last thing she was thinking about was...
You think the machine just sent like her last thought? Like
I think her last thought burst forth into the world, and her sister is sensitive enough.
It's like a discovery or whatever that movie was called.
That was my interpretation, is her sister picked up the signal. Not that it was an intentional message,
that was her spirit leaving this plane. And the machine detected proof that there's an afterlife. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you want to talk about next? Want to talk a little Hulk action?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's talk Hulk.
Want to talk some Hulk smash?
Yeah, let's do it.
So you didn't watch the trailers. Trailer 2 showed the Hulk, and I knew that there was going to be a scene where Spidey was going to be in some sort of confrontation with the Hulk. But wasn't clear to me from that trailer the context of that. Given this is a person has mind control, you could assume that she would be mind controlling Hulk and, warging into Hulk and doing, some sort of control of him. But I love that this film flips that on its head, and that in that fight, he's not actually fighting a warged Hulk. He's fighting the Hulk that got out of Banner because of like the other he just lost control outside of the confines of being mind controlled. I really, really enjoyed that, and seeing the difference between like Wild Hulk, him just normal hulked out version, and then like the mind controlled version of Hulk, and seeing that like, oh no, uncontrolled Hulk is just way bigger and way nastier.
I really like that too, and it added that's what I think is so smart about this, is every addition to this movie is reiterating the theme in a different way or showing some other example of it. And in this case, it was fun mechanically to see the different variants of Hulk and to see how Bruce Banner grapples with being the Hulk and tries to like make peace with the different parts of himself and everything. And it also just made for really fucking cool action. I did want to ask though, because I I have not watched any Disney Plus shows for the MCU, like not a minute of anyone. So I don't know anything extra textual, like anything that isn't in the movies. I don't know about. So when I last left the Hulk, he had become Smart Hulk and found a way to like integrate the two pieces of himself. When we meet him here, he uses this inhibitor so he will not Hulk out anymore. Is there connective tissue like in She-Hulk or something that like talks about any of this?
I don't even remember why he went away from Smart Hulk and became just regular man.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't remember at all. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I will say I loved him showing up as like I can imagine him being a sort of mentor figure for Peter Parker in the future, because it feels so interesting. Like he taps into the loneliness. I guess that's what everyone here has, is a loneliness as a hero. Though like, there are people who, for whatever reason, their type of power makes them be alone.
Yeah. Though I think fundamentally they will be against each other, given Peter's willingness to suppress all mutated genes and all beings. Like,
don't you feel like Peter? I feel like that only lasts to the end of this movie. I don't feel like that is teeing up.
This is 100% teeing up like all X-Men. Like, this is in the future. This is going to be the way people are trying to stop mutants from being a thing.
No,
like,
of course it is teeing that up, but I don't think Peter supports it at the end. Like, isn't Peter's whole arc learning that you don't suppress? And I know, and this is where we were talking about like the metaphor breaking down with the reality.
That is the lesson he learns, but he will have to deal with the ramifications of him putting this technology into existence, and like it will still be like, this is what you brought into the world. And I think that there will be an aspect, like I think that's part of why Hulk comes out, is because Peter is like, oh, you need to shut this part of you off, and that's why like Hulk is like, no, shut me off.
Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely believe all that. I just don't. So maybe Hulk will be against him in the future. I just don't know that Bruce Banner will be against him.
I just think that like when they were standing in the hallways and he was like, yeah, but how would you choose? Like, I think that there's a fundamental, like, once the side effects of him having brought that technology into existence start to play out, I think there will be like some sort of schism of like this is the punishment.
Is the new Civil War, basically.
Yeah. I think that will be some sort of like divide there of like, hey, you played with this. I warned you about this. I tried to mentor you once. You didn't take it then. Why would I mentor you now?
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that dynamic being there, and 100% this is teeing up the whole X-Men concept and trying to combine it with the Civil War concept of like, should vigilante superheroes exist and should they partner with blah blah blah. Like it totally makes sense that they're leading in this direction. I just feel like Peter Parker will not be on the other side of that argument. He might be wanting to atone for it in some way, but I don't think he's going to be like the face of regulate mutants. You know? Yeah.
At least not mutants who were just trying to find their sister.
Yeah.
He might still think some mutants need to be regulated.
I also want to say, and this is, well, actually, first, let's just, the last connective tissue to the broader MCU, at least as far as I can remember, was connecting this to, I don't even remember what her Thunderbolts character is named, Florence Pugh's character.
Yeah.
My head wants to say Natasha.
It's Black Widow's sister.
Yeah. Black Widower. Because Scarlet died. Anyway, connecting it to her. And she, to me, was like the fun amount of, she just pops up to be more of like the comedic like sensibility in the broader MCU. But even her being there, like, if there's one movie that is very similar to this, Yelena, that's right. If there's one MCU movie that is similar to this in terms of what it is trying to be about, it is like Thunderbolts, or like the end of Thunderbolts, where it is all about like depression and not doing it alone, and emotions and characters coming to grips with their own emotions. So I don't know, it just feels like they they found every hero that would maximally relate to the theme, and we're going to have them all orbit this in some way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And now they can finally have Logan in there too.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to say that I really liked, that first, I like the mini Odyssey reunion of Bernthal, Holland, and Zendaya all being together. That was fun. But I particularly like the stretches of the film that are just kind of the three of them bunkered away, where it actually gets to talk just about the interpersonal things of like.
Also, sorry, just to extend your metaphor. It also is funny that Tom Holland has to be nice to anybody he sees because they might have somebody else inside.
That's
them.
true. That is very true.
Like, yeah, you have Athena's eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene's law applies.
All right, go.
That is really funny. Anyway, like the movie takes its time to let us actually like unpack the characters and talk through how hard it is for him, growing up, and he gets actual good advice from John Bernthal and Zendaya. But what I like how this deals with the ramifications of the world has forgotten who Peter Parker is. And he has taken the classic superhero conceit of the secret identity meant to protect other people. And the movie basically says, like, that isn't for you to do, right? Like, that is selfish. You are deciding that you know what is best for everyone and that you can, like, keep it all inside, and you should not do that. And I think the way it pulls that off feels, like, emotionally resonant. And it also finds a way to get, like, his friends back on the board while making MJ no longer a love interest, which leaves room for Gwen Stacy or other things in the future too. Like, I just think it was so clever in how it handled the reset, and it made there be a lesson in the reset, so we don't just wind up in the same place that we were before. And it has a springboard that you can jump from in the future. Like, I was just all about it.
Yeah, it wasn't just like an unsnapping.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like nothing can undo what happened before. And I think Zendaya and Tom Holland both play that like very well in that moment.
Yeah. Good movie. I will admit I did not stay to see any post-credits things, so I don't know if anything cool was revealed or not. It was pretty late. It was just a close-up of the Spidey tracker, and then it's like it shows a ping in space, so Spidey's in space.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I didn't miss anything.
Cool. Well, I hope they know what they have here, and if Spider-Man was not already a big part of Avengers Doomsday, I hope they make him a big part real quick, because this is currently the load-bearing part of the MCU as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see moving forward. Have you been watching the Doomsday trailers?
Nope. Fully avoid it. I mean, I saw like the god awful ones when they were doing little glimpses where it was just like slow-mo showing me that Chris Evans was back, and I'm like, I don't care. I want to see what the movie is about, not the fact that you already reneged on the characters you told me were leaving.
Yeah, the new trailer is just all hype. I'm stoked though.
Okay. I'll watch it.
Good times.
I think we're finished.
All right. Well, that's it. We're gonna go. Thanks everybody for listening. See y'all next time.
Bye.